Hey guys, it's Rebecca, and for today I have my April wrap-up and my May TBR. In April, I read a few books. I didn't have a lot of time to read because of finals and school and everything, but I have a lot of these books that I'll be talking about today because I had to return them to the library. So just imagine that you can see them. And I also did not read most of the books that I mentioned in my last wrap-up and TBR because it was just really weird. I had to return books to the library, and so I didn't get to read them, and then I read other books. So it's just a weird mashup of books, so let's just get into it. The first book that I read this month is Air of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. This was the audiobook that I listened to in the month of April. I read it at the end of February and all of March and into April, so it took me a long time to read it because it's so long. But I liked the book. I didn't like it as much as the first two books, but I think that's because I was distracted most of the time that I was listening to it, so I wasn't enjoying the story as much as I would have if I was just sitting down reading it. I think I gave the book a 4 out of 5 stars, and I am excited to read Queen of Shadows the month of May and continue on with this series. The next book that I read is Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. This is a high fantasy novel following the story of several different characters. The title character, Sophie, is a truth witch, and she is being hunted because of her powers, and no one knows that she has magical powers of being able to tell when someone is telling the truth or not. I really enjoyed the friendship of this novel. Sophie and her thread sister Isolde is a thread witch, and they had a really great friendship, and I really enjoyed the aspect of the book. The one part that I did not like about the book was there wasn't much of a plot. I don't feel like. I think that the story was focusing so much on the friendship that the plot was kind of lacking. So I ended up giving this book a 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read is Alex and Eliza by Melissa De La Cruz. I have a full review of this book up on my channel, so I will leave that link down. But this is a historical romance between Alexander Hamilton and Eliza Schuyler, the stars of the musical Hamilton. It just goes throughout their love story and how they fall in love and the trials that they have to overcome to find each other, and I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I'm not going to go too much into this book because I do have that full review. If you want to know more about this book, then you can watch my review of it. And that's all the books that I read in April. It's really terrible. But now let's get on to my May TBR. I don't have a very big May TBR because I will be going home in the month of May, and I work crazy ton of hours when I'm at home. So in the midst of that, I'm trying to finish up my novel before I go to a conference in June. I'm not going to have a lot of time to read, but I will have time to listen to audiobooks because I live 30 minutes away from where I work. So I'll have time to read on my way to and from work, but I'm not going to have a lot of time to actually sit down and read a book. But the first book I actually have already finished, and that is Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I finished this book pretty early in May. I started in April and then I finished it on the 1st or the 2nd. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It's a cool love story between Simon and as he's trying to discover his identity, and it's just a cute, fluffy romance. And like I said before on my channel, I'm not a big contemporary person, but I really enjoyed this book. Oh, what it was about it that just really appealed to me. I just really loved the story that Becky Albertalli tells, and I just really enjoyed this book. So if you're looking for a cute, fluffy contemporary, pick up Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda. The next book I have is Wind Witch by Susan Dennard. I am currently reading this book, and I'm kind of mixed on my feelings about this book. I'll talk about it more in my wrap-up, but this is the sequel to Truth Witch by Susan Dennard, which I read in April, and it's okay. I'm not enjoying it as much as I did Truth Witch, but hopefully it'll pick up. I have about 200 pages left in it. So the next book I have is the Charles of Apollo, The Dark Prophecy, book number 2 by Rick Riordan. I bought this book on the day it came out. I was so excited about it. And this is one of my most anticipated releases of 2017. And this is the second book in the Charles of Apollo series. And if you don't know anything about this new series from Rick Riordan, it follows the god Apollo, who has made Zeus mad, and now he is a 16-year-old kid who has acne, all kinds of teenager problems, and he has to figure out a problem that is happening with all the oracles that he is in charge of when he was a god. And it's just a really funny story. I really enjoyed the first one, and I can't wait to dive into this one after I finish Wind Witch. I'll be having a full review of this book coming up after I finish it, so make sure you keep a lookout for that. The next books I'm going to listen to during my car rides to work, and that is Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. I'm hoping I have enough time to listen to both of these in the month of May because they're quite big. I don't have Empire of Storms, but I'm pretty sure it's just as big. This book is almost 700 pages long. It is the 4th and the 5th books in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. And it's been a month since I've read a Sarah J. Maas book, reading about her world and reading about Selena and the challenges that she goes through. The last book that I want to read this month is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I was going to listen to this book in the month of April, but I never had a chance to. I started listening to it when I was driving home for Easter, and then I came back and finals happened, and so I didn't get a chance to listen to it, and then I had forgotten everything that had happened. I got the audiobook, and I was like, okay, I'll just pick it up next month, hopefully. But I'm not sure if I'll be able to get to this book because I'm going to be focusing on reading The Dark Prophecy so I can review that book for you guys. I will have time to pick up this book because I did like what I had listened to so far, so hopefully I can pick it up. And that is all the books that I have read in April and I hope to read in May. Let me know down in the comments below what books that you have read or that you're going to read, and which books that you're excited about. And until my next video, happy reading!